What's up guys, it's Savjz here, and on this video I'm going to talk about 15 of my favorite cards revealed so far from the upcoming Riftbound set Spiritforged. I will not be talking so much about the legends and the strategies behind the legends because we haven't seen all of the champion cards and signature cards yet, but instead I will be focusing on some of the individual cards that could go in many different decks. I'll try to find some potential cool uses and synergies for them. Alright, first we have Savjz Trickster, 3 energy, 1 power, 3 might. When you play me, you may play a spell from your trash with energy cost no more than 3, ignoring its energy cost, and recycle after you play it. So what are we doing with this? We can replay a spell that we previously played. Snapcaster Mage, anyone? From Magic, that is a famous Magic card that was very, very powerful. What spells can we do? Later on in the game, there's probably going to be a lot of different ones that we can use. Maybe Ride the Wind, and more of those like more expensive, maybe up to 3 cost spells. But early on, it could be replaying a stacked deck, maybe a Gust to return another unit back to hand. There's just purple in general has a lot of different ones to play. If you're playing something like purple and green, maybe you can play another Discipline for free on your other minion, on your other unit. There's just ton of different uses with this. There's so many different spells, and I think it's going to be a really, really cool staple card for any deck that's running a variety of cheap spells. Next up, we have Hard Bargain. It's a counter spell for purple. 2 energy. Counter spell unless its controller plays 2, and it has to repeat. So, I guess technically you could try, if there's 2 different spells on the chain, you could counter both of them, but that's not really how it works. So it's basically either you pay 2 and your opponent needs to pay 2 or it gets countered, or you can pay 4 and your opponent needs to pay 4 or it gets countered. That's kind of how it works. Probably not a main board card, but it is a very exciting sideboard card in my opinion. If you're going up against any Time Warp deck, maybe Igatian Rain is giving you trouble, I think this is an excellent choice to have against any expensive spells. Also, going into the future, if there's any new spells, any big spells that you keep losing to, try to get ahead early, and then when your hand size gets smaller, hopefully you're ahead. When your opponent is playing a greedy deck and trying to go for that big Igatian Rain, you got the Hard Bargain. I think it's really awesome to have a way to potentially counterplay cards as the Igatian Rain. Next, we have Boots of Swiftness. Oh, this is my personal favorite gear of mine, or favorite equipment of mine. 3 energy and then 1 recycle purple to give a unit +2 might and ganking. This is such a dream card for a deck builder like myself. Being able to give ganking to units that are not supposed to have ganking sounds crazy. Like, just think about Dr. Mundo. You slam it in mid to late game, your Mundo has 16 might, or maybe if you have 10 mana or 10 energy, you play your Mundo, you equip this on your Mundo, you play Ride the Wind. Your Mundo is instantly going to take both of the battlefields because it moves to one, readies, and then with the Boots of Swiftness you can go to the other one. Or maybe with Green Yasuo. This is a lot of really cool big units with cool abilities that can now just keep going back and forth. And remember, if your unit dies, you can just equip your Boots to a different unit. Or you could even like gank with 1 unit with the Boots, and on the same turn, if that one traded with something, you just give the Boots to another unit, and then you gank with the other unit as well. Such a cool card, and I can't wait to see what I can do with this. Next we have Jayce, Unmatched. This is a champion card, and each equipment in only 5 energy, 5 might, which is already solid with the deflect and everything, but each equipment in your hand has quick draw, which means it gains reaction, and when you play it, you attach it to a unit you control. So that's 2 things. You can play those cards on your opponent's turn, which can give you some like extra value and have the surprise factor also in it. But also, it equips automatically, which means you don't have to pay the cost of equipping it. So it's doing double duty. If you have any way to like protect your Jayce, this guy become a raid boss. Like, just give it multiple equipment. How is your opponent going to get rid of it if we have ways to protect it? And speaking of ways to protect it, boom, the Guardian Angel. What a great card for the Jayce to keep it going and keep it snowballing. It's going to be such a powerhouse. 2 energy and 1 recycle green to attach it to a unit. But as we established, with the quick draw from the green jacks. We won't need to do the extra recycle for this. So it just automatically equips to your unit. If I would die, kill the Guardian Angel instead. Heal me, exhaust me, recall me. So keeps the jacks going. Good luck to killing it twice. Especially with the deflect, killing it twice would be very expensive, even if they can do it, which is going to be extremely difficult. Guardian Angel, it's a little bit like Zhonya's Hourglass, but you can put the Guardian Angel on the exact unit that you want it on. So if you play something like a you have already played a Guardian Angel earlier, you play a Dead Bloom Predator directly into your opponent's battlefield, conquer, and then equip the Guardian Angel on the Predator on the same turn as you played the Predator. They kill the Predator, okay, it comes back. You just sacrifice your Guardian Angel and you have a Predator good to go again on the next turn. I love how this is targeted, and I like how you also get that 1 extra might. Next we have Rengar Bouncing. 3 energy, 1 recycle, 3 might. Reaction. It is a unit that you can play as a reaction. And it can be played to a battlefield that you're attacking. So you can have your 2 energy guy you played on turn 1. Then if your opponent somehow has a battlefield, or you can also play this as defense, but especially when you're on the offense, like 3 energy for 5 additional might attacking. It's not just like buff plus 5 might. You actually get another unit too, which can sometimes be better, sometimes worse, but usually better. It's just a very, very powerful unit. If you have trouble conquering, like this should do it. And remember, since you can play it on your opponent's turn, you can play it to your base. If you're playing some kind of deck where you have different combat tricks, maybe you have some open energy. You might be, if you're playing a color combination where you have some maybe like purple tricks that you are thinking of playing, but then there won't be anything to return to hand or move or anything. Then you can instead just play a Rengar. When your opponent moves to a battlefield, you can play a Rengar to your base, and then it will be, when your turn begins, it will be ready to go. So very, very cool card. I just think that 5 extra might for just 3 energy to play as a trick is just such a cool thing. Then we have Longsword. Okay, this might look a little boring at first glance when you're like, oh, it's just a basic thing, right? No, this is really good. Because of the cost is so affordable. If you play Annie, you can always slap this on when you untap 2 at the end of turn. So this will be like pretty much like non-conditional useful card for Annie. All you need is a unit. So I suppose you could technically play it without unit too, to just have it ready and spend your energy, but usually you have a unit. It is like a buff, which you play. You pay 2, you get +2, but then you get to keep the buff. It's not just until the end of turn. It will be on the next turn. If your unit dies, then you still have your sword ready to go. It's just such an incredibly efficient card because the energy cost is so low. Then we have Ferrous Forerunner, another like efficiency-based card that I wanted to bring up here. So this is a 6 energy, 1 recycle, 6 might unit. When it dies, play 2 3 might mech tokens into your base. This is total of 12 might for 6 energy. And that's not even taking the mech bonus into account. So if you're playing like Rumble, you have multiple ways to buff your mechs. You get some extra value from the mech tag. But it's just like, at the end of the day, it's just, how do you go wrong with this? Even in Limited, but even in Constructed, it's just so annoying. Like, you kill it, and it's back. It's just, then the small mechs can also go to separate battlefields. Or they can be buffed or equipped or anything like that. It's just like to take the battlefield back in. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this in many decks. I could be wrong. Maybe it doesn't do enough immediately, but I think it's an incredibly efficient card. Then we have Yone, Blade Master, 5 energy, 1 recycle, 5 might. Weapon Master, when you play me, you get to equip 1 equipment for free. I mean, or 1 less power, but most of the equipment will be free, not all of them. When I conquer an open battlefield, deal damage equal to my might to an enemy unit in base. The pressure that this guy puts on. If your opponent has any units, they cannot leave battlefields open. And what if the equipment that you put on Yone is protecting it? Then your opponent can't even get rid of it very easily. They can't keep units in base. They have to put it on a battlefield. What if it's a tactical unit that they don't want to fight with? They have to put it on a battlefield anyway. And then your Yone might eat it alive. If Yone is bigger than your opponent's units, it doesn't matter where they are. They're on battlefield, they're in base, they're just gonna die. And remember, you can also equip multiple gear on Yone. So you can equip 1 for free with the Weapon Master, but if you happen to have more of them, you could get your Yone to like very high amount of might. You can also use temporary buffs, but multiple equipment, and get him to like 9 might or what else. Like, it's just like, oh, is the enemy going to die in base or battlefield? Your opponent can choose. Then we have Warmock's armor. Okay, at first you might be like, it's just a small piece of equipment, right? No, this thing is crazy. So it's got only 1 energy. And then for equip, it's 1 recycle. When I conquer buff me, it's already +1, but then you can keep getting buffs on your guys. So if you're playing any kind of buff synergy, you're playing set or anything that has any extra use for the buffs, this thing is going to be incredible. And even if you're not playing a particularly buff strategy, even then, oftentimes you equip this and then you conquer, and then it's +2 already. So you paid 1 and 1 recycle to get +2 on your guy. Your guy dies, you still have your Warmocks. Another one that kind of goes on the efficiency bucket, but it also had additional application where you can get your buffs. Maybe you can consume the buffs for some extra uses. Just a really, really like cheap and just efficient card. Ornn. Oh boy, 6 energy, 4 might, deflect 2. So every time it's chosen, your opponent must recycle 2. It's a weapon master. It gets +1 might for each friendly gear. What's good to notice here, it doesn't say every friendly equipment. So if you have things such as seals, if you have energy conduit, like those also count. And then you get to put your equipment on this guy. He can get really big because the equipment itself can give him like +2, but then you get +1 extra. So 2 +2 equipment are basically buffing Ornn +3. And you can also like remember, like if you want to keep your gear on another unit, your Ornn also keeps getting buffed. It's just if you have extra ways to protect him, this can absolutely win games. And I love how there's no recycle cost on it. So if you're playing a greedier deck, because there's quite a few very powerful late game cards for blue. There is no recycle on it, so you will very like nicely ramp with this. Whether you want to do an accelerated watcher the next turn, or you're building towards a time warp, it's just really, really like feels like a raid boss. Then we have Jayce. This is gonna be the Jayce card of the set. When you play me, you may kill a friendly gear. If you do, you may play a gear with energy cost no more than 7 from hand. So you can kill a small gear or a gold token. Gold token is a good one. And it's by itself, it's already like no recycle 4 with 4 might, which is not that bad. Like, but if you can pull off something big, and you can get some kind of big gear on the board with this by sacrificing gold token, that can win some games. So if you're finding something to play with, like let's say this one, also from the new set, the Vanguard Armory. 7 cost, you can play it for free with the Jayce. Well, okay, you have the recycle, right? You still gotta do the power cost, but not the energy. You can get this super early. There was even a strategy where you could technically play it on turn 1, I think, going second, and then you have the extra rune, Obelisk of Power, and then you play a seal, and you turn 1 Armory. So the turn you play this, you make 3 recruit tokens, and you will continue making 3 recruit tokens every single turn. If you're someone who plays casually at a kitchen table, multiplayer games, like 3-player, 4-player games, this is maybe the best free-for-all card ever. Like this could be it. Like, this could very well be it. If you're playing a 4-player game and your opponents don't have any gear removal, if they do, I mean they will take it out. But if they don't have any way to destroy your gear, you will continue to get 3 tokens every turn. Those are excellent at getting those cheap points. If your recruit dies afterwards, sure, whatever. Like, it was free anyway. So you can get some easy conquers with this. You can build your army in base, go 3, 9, 3, 6, 9, 12. Just then go for a stratagem and just do it all. So especially in a free-for-all multiplayer game, I think this card is going to be so crazy. But yeah, even in 1v1 with the Jayce, like that combo is so spicy. If you can pull it off, I'm not 100% sure that it's going to be like the next OP thing, because you do have to like draw both, and then you also have to make the you have to have another gear to sacrifice. So you might have to kind of like build around it, and if you don't do them at the same time, they might not be good enough individually. So there's a bunch of like, we'll see what happens, but it could be crazy. Then we have Sacred Shears. There's a lot of too much power cost on this, so I'm not sure how good it's going to be, but it's a gear. And every time your unit dies, you draw a card. And it's +1 might. So what makes me so excited about this is I love playing Darius myself. And Darius runs out of cards. So this is the perfect Darius gear, right? Because you buff your guy to have it +1 might. So when you do your birthing pod, baited hook, when you activate your baited hook, Sacred Shears buff will allow you to find a bigger dude, and you get those so valuable cards, so you don't run out of cards with the Darius. So that's what I'm hoping to see. This like maybe I could make this work in Darius, just to kind of like keep refueling the hand and also just getting those extra buffs. But like I said, the energy costs, both when you play it and each time you equip it, it could turn out to be too much. But one more thing. Darius does play those yellow seals already, so those yellow seals will certainly help a lot with the Sacred Shears. Very cool card. And last but not least, a Classic Mixologist. So 5 energy, 5 might, 1 recycle. You may Death Knell. You may play a unit from your trash, not more than 3 and 1 recycled, ignoring its cost. So it is a 5 cost 5, which is already not that bad, and then you get a free 3-drop. But if you have some guy in a like 3-drop with an ability, maybe if you get a Fizz, you can bring your Fizz back. If you're playing that color combination, you can then the Fizz will play a spell for free. Maybe you get your Vanguard Captain back, getting some tokens. There's just so much you can bring back with this that could be like very strategic. And at the end of the day, the reason why I'm so excited about this one is that it's already like the stat line is just very solid. It's not like some kind of bad unit on its own, but it's already decent by itself. So these type of cards and these type of effects from like other card games have kind of like proven to be quite valuable. So yeah, Classic Mixologist and some juicy 3-drops. I think we could see this guy see some play. We'll see. Maybe it finds its place, maybe it doesn't. But either way, I think it's really cool. That's it for now. Once all the cards are out, I will be making a lot of videos, especially around the legends, the signature cards, the champions, all that stuff. But I couldn't hold myself back because I haven't really seen much discussion around some of these cards. So I really wanted to make this video and just to like share my excitement and all the future deck building that could be happening. Thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy Riftbound.